What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today, oh man, I've been waiting for this one for a long time. So from Good Smile, we've got the Brave Fighter of Sun, Fighbird. So we're going to be taking a look at him today. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go. So let's take a look and see what we've got inside here. So of course we have the manual. Looks like we got some extra instructions here. So we'll take a look at that a little later. And then of course you have Fighbird here. So you have that with the flame sword. This is the hilt for the flame sword. Looks like you've got the hands there with the face for Fighbird, and you've got the flame breaster. Now, it's interesting looking at this guy because he is quite big compared to like some of the Mazinger figures that I've been messing with lately. But that's what we've got inside. So let's take a look at the manual next. So let's take a look at this manual. So it looks like we've got some extra instructions here. And here pretty much, I put this in Google Translate, and pretty much what this is saying is that there was an error in the manual. So this is how he is straight out of the box here. So you've got that. And then apparently some people have said that they've had problems with the hands. And so what they're suggesting here is that you run it under warm water, or I guess if you have like a hair dryer available, you could use that to kind of warm this up in order to get these to move. So I don't know if that's a good sign. We've already got errors, but that's okay. So the thing about this Fighbird for me, so the thing about Fighbird is he did not come out in America at all. And it looks like you got your parts count here. So he doesn't have too many things going on with him, and we kind of went over all of that there. And then taking a look at this manual. Now, the thing about me with Fighbird, because there is a reason why he is my profile pick. This is one of my favorite designs, and I just really like this. And I like this design of Fighbird even more than Great Fighbird. So it looks like I'm not seeing anything too difficult. But the reason why I say there's a lot riding on this guy for me, if you guys go back to my original Good Smile Degarn review, you will see that I said that there was a couple of things that I didn't like. One thing you guys know is that I am an articulation snob. And so I am someone that I must have articulation in my figure, especially if I'm spending a lot of money. And the Degarn GX, it left a little bit to be desired. And that was the reason why I did not get the Good Smile Mike Guine, and I did not get the Good Smile 7 changer. They've had probably about 4 or 5 releases since that Degarn. And so I'm hoping that their quality has improved, because if it hasn't, this will probably be the last you see of Good Smile on the channel, other than Grandbird, because Grandbird, I've already pre-ordered him. So I'm finishing this guy regardless of the outcome. But going forward, if I don't think that this is good, or I don't think the articulation is where I want it to be, I'm not buying Good Smile anymore. Because to me, there's just certain things that I want out of a figure, and that's not saying that Good Smile is bad or anything like that. It's just that for me, there's certain things I'm looking for when I buy a figure. And if Good Smile's not gonna give it to me, then I will take my money elsewhere. And that's no shade to them. That's just the fact of the matter for me. But anyway, so that's what we've got for the manual. So now let's take a look at Fighbird himself. So let's take a look at Fighbird here. So this pretty much is the combination of the Android and the Firejet. So let's take a look. Now he is relatively big. I will give him that. That's one thing about Good Smile. Those Good Smile figures, they are really, really big. He does have some good detail in here. So he does have some panel lining in here. He's got some panel lining here as well. Let's take a look at the face there. The face does look pretty good there. So yeah, I do like that. It does look pretty good. Now with with Good Smile, I've always had an issue as far as like the gold, because I consider Good Smile to almost be like an updated version of the original Takara DX versions. And if you're gonna do that, then go ahead and give me a plated version of the gold here. But I still like it. So I mean, it's definitely like a brush gold, and that does look good there. So of course we got the cockpit there for the fire jet. I'm not seeing any kind of sprue marks. There's a couple in here and there. So that's pretty much where they get the plastic off the sprue. So you do have that. Now, with this part here, all right, pretty much what you have to do is you have to pull the feet out. So just grab it in here and then pull it out. I've already done that, but just to show you, you pull those out and then you take the knees and put these in there. And then it looks like it can rotate its thighs pretty good. It does feel like it's on a ratchet. So that's pretty cool. So you've got that. It looks solid. Of course, you know me, I like a little bit more detail in my figures than this, but for what it is, I don't think that this is bad. So what we're gonna do now is I'm going to do his articulation. So let's do that next. So let's take a look at Fighbird's articulation. So for the head, he can look up, pretty decent there. You can look down, any side to side, a little bit, but not a ton there. So he does get a little bit of rock there, but not too much. Can he do 360? Let's see. Yes, he can. So that's what you have for the head. Now for the shoulder, he can lift this up. Oh, that's a pretty decent size there. So it does have that. Looks like you can raise that up pretty good. So I'm taking a look at the detail in here, so to see how that works. That's interesting. All right, but he does have some articulation in his arm, so actually that's more than I was expecting. So that's what we have for the shoulder. Now for the bicep, it does look like you can spin this 360, so that's really good for that. Let's take a look at the elbow here. Pretty good on the elbow. Okay, Good Smile. You're impressing me so far. I'm pretty shocked. Now you're not gonna get any kind of movement, it doesn't look like, just due to his transformation on the forearm here. And then these are his guns there, so those do come in and out there. So that's what you have for the elbow and the forearm. Now for the hand. Okay, you get no side to side, nothing at all. Do we get up and down? No, we don't get that either. Okay, so you get no wrist articulation at all. Now that could just be due to his transformation, but we'll check on that later. Now for his hands, is this a split? It doesn't look like it's a split. It looks like it's just 4 hands. And of course, we'll go through his accessories when we get later on in the review, but that's what you've got for the hand there. I don't know if I like that all that much, but it's not bad though. So that's what you got for the hands. Now for the midsection, let's see. Is there any? Nope, there's nothing. I don't know if I like that at all. Yep, there's no side to side. There's nothing. Yep, you're not getting that to move at all. It doesn't look like it. Let me see. Nope. Nope. So no ab articulation. That's disappointing for me, because even with the Takara, like the Super Genrai that I did a review on last month, they at least had it to where you could get some ab articulation in here, but you're not getting anything. Yeah. Oh, that sucks. I don't like that. Okay, so next we'll take a look at the waist. Now for the waist, let's see. It looks like he does have 2 front skirts there. So they do work independently of each other. You do have a very small side skirt right here, so that will lift up and down. Okay. And then what about any back skirt? Doesn't look like it. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. Yep, no back skirt there. So that's what we have for the waist. Now for the legs. So it's interesting how they have this, because this is on a ratchet. I can hear it, right? And you can spin that almost 180 degrees. So that's pretty good that you can do that. You won't get it to go inside though. That's giving me a lot of resistance there. So that's what you have for the thigh. Can he do the splits? Let's get his arms out of the way here. Let's see if he can do the splits. No, but it's not horrible. I've definitely seen worse. Now actually, let's move his side skirts up and see if we can get it that way. Let's try that and see. All right, here we go. Nope, doesn't look like it. I don't know. I don't know. It does look like you do have some articulation here, just not enough for me personally, but it does look like you've got some. So it's not horrible. It's definitely not horrible. So that's what you have for the thigh. Now for the legs, what we're gonna do is we wanna move that side skirt up. Let's move this up. Okay, that's pretty good. That's roughly at about 90 degrees. All right, so you've got that. Let's take a look at that knee bend. The knee bend isn't terrible. All right, so you do have a V, it's just a wide V, but you do have that. So I would have liked it to bend a little bit closer to the bottom here, but it's not horrible, okay? So you've got that. And then for the knee guards, those do open and close. You're actually supposed to have these open. So that's what you have for the knee guards. Now for the feet. He can move it one notch up. You can move it about 3 notches down. So that has to do with his transformation. Okay. He does have a rock there on the ankle, but it looks like it only goes to the inside, not to the outside. Yeah, I'm not getting any kind of movement on that other side. So that's, yet again, not horrible. All right, but decent size for the feet. Actually, and I also think because of how long his foot is, that he's probably not gonna have much problem standing. So that should be pretty good. And then of course, these are the flaps for the wings. That's when we do him in, that's when we transform him into fire jet mode. So you do have those on the sides as well. So that's what you have for articulation for Fighbird in his base mode. It's a mixed bag for me. It's definitely, in some areas, it's better than I expected. And then in other areas, it's about what I expected. So that's what we have for his articulation. So now what we'll do is we'll take a look at his accessories, since he doesn't have that many, but we'll take a look at those real quick. So let's take a look at Fighbird's accessories. So first we have the flame breaster. So of course he's got the 2 guns here on the side. I do like that Phoenix insignia, how they did that. This is really good brush gold, but I have a suggestion for Good Smile. Maybe they should do a regular edition, and this would be a great regular edition, and then do maybe like a special edition and have this all be chrome plated. I think that would be amazing. Yeah, because especially with Fighbird has a lot of gold in him. So that looks really, really good. So I already know how that's gonna go as far as his transformation. Looks like you can move it up and down, so that's good too as well. But I do like that kind of sun and then the Phoenix there. And then this is the waist section for the flame breaster as well. So that's what you have for the flame breaster. And then you have the head for Fighbird. So this looks really, really good, even though I do see some sprue marks here, but nothing too shabby. Now, out of most of the Brave figures, this one looks the most like a Gundam to me, because of course it has the 2 slits there for the face with the green eyes and the chin there. Like, if you told me, and now you didn't know Brave, and you told me that this was a Gundam, I would believe you. But you got that. He also has the sun insignia there, and it looks like it's embossed a little bit. So that's pretty good. So they did really good on the detail work here. So I do like this face for Fighbird. And then you have a miniature figure of the android. He is the one thing that goes inside Fighbird's chest. And without getting into the story of Fighbird, but pretty much this is, I think his name was Katoki, I'm pretty sure. I know it started with a K for sure, but it looks like you do have some articulation in here. So you can move his feet. That's pretty much how he's gonna connect, I'm pretty sure, and go into the chest piece there. So that's how that looks for that. There is no movement in the arms. So it's a pretty basic little guy there. And that's the only figure of the android that you get. But so that's what you got for that. And then you have the flame sword. This is one of my favorite swords for Brave. I just like it. So you have that there. You have an embossed insignia of the Phoenix there. So you've got that. And I think a special edition that would make all the gold parts chrome plated, I think that may be a suggestion I hope they take for later releases. But of course, you're just gonna slide that in there just like that. So that's what you have for the flame sword. And lastly, we have the hands for Fighbird. So the one thing that I do like about Good Smile is that they give you little accessories like this so you can place all of his hands on, so you don't have to worry about missing them or dropping them anywhere. But you've got, now these are in matte black. So, so it's not, there's no gloss finish on any of these. So, but of course, first you have the finger pointing hands. We see that pretty regularly in a lot of different super robot ones. You have the semi-open hands here, and they seem to be a little bit soft for me. I expect, especially since they want you to, kind of heat these up to get these to move, but it looks pretty, feels pretty flexible to me. So, I mean, you're not gonna be able to move it, but I mean, it does have a little bit of give on it. So, I don't know, interesting. And then you have his flame sword hands there, and then you have the closed fist here and here. So that's what you got for the hands. So that's what you have for Fighbird's accessories. He doesn't get a ton of different accessories. It would have been nice if they had added a effect part, like for the flame sword, because if you've seen the anime, that is a whole elaborate thing there. But anyway, so what we'll do next is we'll apply the flame breaster, and then we'll transform him lastly into Fire Jet. So we'll do that next. So what I decided to do next is, before I put on the flame breaster for Fighbird, I'm actually gonna take you into his transformation into Fire Jet. So pretty much, and one thing I forgot to go over was the android here. So pretty much, in order to put him in his chest, all you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and fold this up so he kind of folds up like that. And then you're gonna just take him and we're gonna just put him in his chest just like that. Boom. And so that's how he goes in his chest as Fighbird. So, and that's part of his transformation into Fighbird. And then if you want to get it out, this can be a little tricky, but what I've done is there's like a little notch here on the front. And then what you'll do is you'll take it and it'll kind of pop out. Let's see if I can get it without shooting it halfway across the room. There you go. And then let me get my little tool. So it came free there, and then you can just pull him out. So that's how he comes out. If I can get my hand in there. There you go. So that's how he comes out there. So that's what you have for the android. Now for his transformation. Now his transformation into Fire Jet is not very complicated. It's pretty straightforward. So I don't think that you'll have too many issues as far as getting him transformed. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to take this part here. We're going to push this up. Then you're going to take this centerpiece here. You're going to push this down like that. Then we're going to move his arms up like this. We're going to open this. And then we're gonna put his fist in, just like that, and then snap that closed. We're gonna do that on this side as well. All right, so we've got him like this. Then we're gonna take his arm here and we're gonna turn it sideways this way. So we'll do that. Then we're gonna push this down. We're gonna take his shoulder pieces and push those up. So we can have that up, you're gonna be straight. This is a classic like 80s brick form. So we've got his shoulders up. Then you're gonna take his arm here and you're gonna push it in, or push it up, I should say. So you're gonna take both arms, push those up. Then we're gonna take his arms, move these this way. So you're gonna move those up so these points are pointing down. Then you're gonna take this piece here, and you're gonna flare these out. So you flare these out this way, just like that. Then you're gonna take these two pieces and you're gonna slide them to the side here. So what you're gonna do, let's see if I can do this here. Take this and then slide that over. So you see how that, you have this little gap here, that's what you want. So you take that, slide that over, boom, just like that. Then we're gonna turn him back around. We're gonna take his two gun turrets, face those up this way. I'm just trying to get this straight here. And then you're gonna take these two top pieces and you're gonna face them inwards like this. Now this is where some contention comes into his wrist. I have not had any problems with mine, but the joint in there, I'd have to unscrew this to show you. But I have found some pictures online that will kind of show you the inside of this. And what it is, there's a mechanism that turns this. And a lot of times what people have found is that it's putting stress on this joint in here. So, but I have not seen that on mine thus far, but of course I haven't taken mine apart to look at it. So you do have that. Then we're gonna take the two gun turrets, point those down. Then we're gonna take the shoulder pieces, move those up. So those are kind of going to collapse in on themselves, just like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna join these together, just like that, so they'll be flush. Then we're gonna spin this around. And then you're gonna take these two side pieces here and here, you're gonna flare these out, just like that. And then you're gonna rotate them down this way. So they are hitting flush just like that, there. Then you're gonna take his two back wing sections here. You're gonna flare those out on both sides, just like that. And then we're gonna take these two blue pieces here and you're gonna flare those out. So he has those on both sides. So you take those, flare those out. Then we're gonna turn around back to the front. Now his knee joints are already locked in here, but normally for robot mode, you would kind of have those out like this. So all you're gonna do is push these back in. Then you're gonna take these two blue pieces, flare those out like this. And then you're gonna take his legs here. So what we're gonna do, see if I can get a good shot of this, is we're gonna take these and he's gonna kind of do a spread eagle. So he's gonna kind of go like this. And then for the thighs, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take them, you're gonna rotate them. So you're gonna rotate them and that's gonna move the entire leg here. So you take that, rotate that. All right, just like that. And then you're gonna take the knee part here and you're gonna rotate this. So you're just gonna rotate the knee. So the thigh stays to the side, the knee comes to the front. You're gonna do that on both sides, just like that. And then we're gonna take the flaps here, we're gonna throw these up, just like that. And then you're gonna take this one and you're gonna pull this out, just like that. So you're gonna do that for both sides. So take that, move that up, take this one, flare that out. Then we're gonna take his feet and you're gonna move those down. And those will become his engines there. So take those, move those down just like that. So we're almost there. We're about halfway done. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this midsection, this whole midsection, and this is probably the reason why they did not give him any articulation in the ab section, is because what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and you're gonna kind of fold this out. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull that out and it's gonna go right between his legs. So it's gonna go and you're gonna pull that all the way down, just like this. Let me see if I can get this. I might not have spread eagled him wide enough. There you go. So it's gonna kind of sit in the middle just like that there. Now I still think, on a side note, that you could have got some articulation from at least the back part but you know, it is what it is. So now what we're going to do is you're going to take his legs and you're going to kind of flare the knee part out so it goes out like that. Same with this side. Boom, just like that. And then what you're going to see is he's got two holes. He's got a hole here. Let me see if I can move that out. He's got a hole here and here. And what you're going to do, that's going to connect to this side piece here and here. All right. So what we're going to do, I think I just hit my camera. You're gonna take that and kind of push that in there. And you're gonna do the same for the other side as well. It kind of goes flush. If you did it correctly, you're not gonna really get any resistance or anything like that. Now, it can be hard to see to kind of line this up. So what you can do is just pull the leg out just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. And then you can kind of push that in there and you see how that kind of locks in place. So that's what you have for that connection. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these two blue pieces, we're gonna push those in like this. And then we're gonna work on the head. The head is pretty much the last piece here. So what we're gonna do is we have these two pieces here and here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take those and flare those out. All right. And get your fingers in there. So you're gonna flare those out so those look like that. And then you're gonna rotate these whole sides here and here. You're gonna rotate those down. So you're gonna take those, move that down there, take that, move that one down there. Then we're gonna open this hatch here. If I can get my hand in there. We're gonna take the face, rotate that inward, make sure that the fins are in there nice and flush. And then you close that up. And then we're gonna take the nose cone here and we're gonna bring that in. You will hear it click when you connect this. All right, just like that. And there is Fighbird in fire jet mode. Now, what we'll do is we'll take out the landing gear because he does have landing gear here. So what we'll do, actually make sure these fins are out up here. All right, we're gonna take him, flip him around. This is landing gear here. So we'll flare those in and then those will pop out. And then the same for the sides here. So you've got one here. So just take that, open that out, just like that. Let's see if we can get those out. Boom, just like that. Same thing for here. See if I can. All right, flare those out. Boom, landing gear. And there you have your transformation for Fire Jet. Looks pretty awesome, I must admit. So there you have the Fire Jet. A pretty decent transformation, not super complicated. You won't really have any problems as long as you follow the instructions. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I will say that it does look really, really nice. I don't know if these wheels, do the wheels move? Yes, they do. So I guess if you want to be 5 years old again, you can rotate those. Those will move for you, okay? But it looks really, really good. There's actually a second part to this, but what I want to do first is just look at this. I think it looks really, really good. And considering that there's no die cast in here, now would die cast have put it over the top? Yes, but you don't necessarily need die cast for this guy. But I think just because of the moving parts and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the Fire Jet looks really, really good. And then one thing about this Fire Jet, you can open the cockpit. So let's see if I can get this out. So you just take those and those will open this way. So you do have a little bit of detail in there. Let's see if we can get in there. So you do have a little bit of detail in there. So they don't really give you the, I want to say his name was Katori or something like that. We've all seen that, like that meme of the guy with the butterfly. That is that is the android in essence. So his human name I think was Katori, I think. But you do have that, so you can put those figures in here. That's too bad that they didn't give you one. Now I know that this will come out, so you can actually put the android in there. Let me see if I can grab it. There we go. And then you can pull this out here. So you have that space in there. And then if you want, you can grab the Android here. And then we'll have him in like a sitting pose. Not the best, but hey, it will work. And then you can have him kind of leaned in there. That's too bad they didn't give you a miniature figure of that, especially since we got some with DeGarn. So, you know, that's unfortunate, but you could do that, close that back up, and then the android will be sitting in there just like that. Too bad they didn't give us a human form for him though. That would have been nice. And then lastly, to finish off his transformation, you can add the flame breaster. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this out. All right, so you're gonna have this here. So what it is it's these two pieces here and here. They will attach onto here. That's right by his, that's right in the middle here. So pretty much what you'll do. Now I didn't put the Fighbird head on yet, but you can put those in here. Let's see if I can get this to line up. Boom, and it kind of attaches like this. Okay, so it goes like that. So in order to attach his head, let's actually pull this part off again here, and then we're gonna grab his head. And then pretty much what it's gonna do is it's just gonna go in like this here, and it kind of fits on, slides in there, just like that. So you see how those two edges there go in, and then what you'll do is you'll raise this up. Let's see if I can get this to, yeah. So you gotta go, it kind of goes in. And actually, let's get his guns out of the way so we can put him in there properly. That, and then we'll move his guns over. And now we can reconnect him. So we can take that, slide that in. Try not to put any pressure so it doesn't come off. All right, boom, just like that. So that is the Firejet with the flame breaster attached. So overall, he looks really, really good. I must admit, I am quite surprised how good this turned out. Now, I may be a little biased because this is my second favorite design in all of Brave, but I must admit it does look really, really good. It's really big as well. What I'll do is, just to give you a quick size comparison, this is the SMP of the Galaxy Shuttle, right? So this is the model kit form. This is actually the next one that's supposed to be coming out, because these two combine into Great Fighbird. But just to show you kind of like what the size difference is between the model kit and the Good Smile version. So that means that the Galaxy Shuttle should be quite big. But yeah, I just had this guy sitting on my desk. Actually, he's got some dust on him. But yeah, so he's a really big boy. So too bad they don't give you a stand for this guy. I'm actually quite surprised that they don't do that. I have seen somebody use the stands for the Macross VF1s as their stand for this guy, but mine are boxed away, so unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to pull them out. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you a quick size comparison for those. So that is your transformation for Fighbird into the Firejet with the flame breaster. One thing I do want to go over is Fighbird's weapons in this form before we get to the flame breaster. He really only has two. So what they are is, he's got these two barrel cannons. He called these the Dynabusters. So you have those two weapons there, and then you have weapons on the knees. So in order to get to his missiles here, what you'll do is you'll take these, let's put his knee things back up, and then we're gonna take these and flare those out there. Up and then out, and then we would bring those back down. There, so that's what he has for his flare missiles there. Those are pretty much the weapons that he has in this form. So now what we'll do is we'll go over his transformation into Fighbird with the flame breaster. So now we're going to do his combination with the flame breaster. So pretty much this is the pose that he would be in, and he would call for the flame breaster. Now, this transformation is relatively simple, so it's not gonna take us long to do. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna take him out of this pose. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take his arms and kind of have him at his side there. We're gonna take the head here. Let's get some light on there. We're gonna take the head here. We're gonna take the ears, push those back there, all right? So he's pretty much ready to go at that point. Then we're gonna take the flame breaster here, all right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, we're gonna raise this up. And then actually, let me get his cannons out the way, because those are gonna go down anyway. So we'll take this, push the head up, and then what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna take the head off of this connection because it's gonna be easier to put it on that way. So we'll pull that off. So now you have the flame breaster here. So pretty much what this does is literally just goes over his head, snaps on. So it's relatively simple. Let's go. So we'll take this, we're gonna take this, move this down here. So that'll actually help, all right? And then that's gonna do here and here. I'm gonna take that, put that on, boom, just like that. This bottom part where the waist is going to snap just like that. All right, you take his cannons, move those down there like that, push that down, and then we'll take the head. We're gonna open this up just like that. And that's gonna come in there just like that. And then boom, just like that. And he would scream out, "So Gattai, Fighbird," which pretty much means armed combination. So this is his armored look. So there you have Fighbird with the flame breaster. This is one of my favorite looks in all of Brave. I love it. It just screams Gundam to me. I think that's the reason why I like it so much. So now let's take a look at him with the flame breaster on a little more closely. So let's take a look at this Fighbird. I am gushing. He looks really, really good. I must admit, he looks really good. I don't think I could ask for a better representation as far as from an aesthetic standpoint with this guy. He looks amazing to me. That's all I can say. So the flame breaster doesn't actually add that much heft to him if you look at it from the side here. Let me try to get his arm out of the way here so we can look. Let me move his arm up that way just so we can look here. So it doesn't really add that much because really the flame breaster is here, this part here, all right? So you have this piece here and then you have this plate in the front. For the flames, these do move up and down, okay? So you do have that. He hasn't really lost any articulation as far as his head. He can look up, just not as far as he could without the helmet on, but he still has pretty good free range of motion there, so he can still do a 360. So it looks really good there. I do like that insignia there. Does look good. His flame sword comes out of here. Pretty much you would just take this and then raise that up, boom. And then the flame sword will come out. So, but we will simulate that here in a little bit. So other than that, he looks really, really good. Now, my main critique for this guy still is that he has no ab articulation. Now, I understand due to the combination that would be a little difficult to engineer because especially it's hard enough with just the regular Fighbird, but with the flame breaster on and you really don't get any movement in here. You get no movement in all. This is one solid piece. It's not going anywhere. But I think maybe possibly if you could have got some in the back, kind of like what Takara did with Super Genrai, I think that would have sufficed here. But other than that, he looks really, really good. Doesn't really have any problems standing or anything like that. So he does look good there. There is a couple of things that I do want to mention here about the hands here. So I put the extra fist on, right? And then what I want to do here, let's see if I can finagle this off here. I want to show you guys something. And you have to kind of finagle this. You have to be careful with this, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. Okay, so this piece here, I've looked on Japanese Twitter. I've seen people break this peg, because that peg is not very big, and the stem there is pretty thin. So unfortunately, if you put these on and you kind of don't finagle it in there, you can break that if you put too much pressure. Now, I did not use any kind of heat for this. I just kind of worked it in there, and I've noticed that tends to work a little bit better. So you literally just put it in there and just kind of work it back and forth until you get it to snap. All right. And then I haven't had any problem pulling it out either. So that's what you have for the hands there. That's really the only other issue I can think of other than that. Now, of course, with all of this kind of armored piece on, he already didn't have any articulation in the midsection, but he really ain't gonna have it now. So that's what you have there. But overall, I'm impressed. I must admit, I am very, very impressed. He kind of does have the hero stand there. I do like that as well. So he looks really good there. Really good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of posing, because you guys know how much a stickler I am about posing. It has to be able to do what it did in the show, and we're going to see if Good Smile delivers on that. So we'll take a look at that next. So when it comes to posing Fighbird, there pretty much is really only one pose that most people want to do, and it's when he calls for the flame sword. And I don't know if people really understand how hard it is to get figures to do this pose and do it correctly. And I must admit that Fighbird does this perfectly. Pretty much what he would do is call out for the flame sword. He would stick it above his head and he would say, "Flame sword, charge up." In essence, what would happen is the flames would engulf the sword, and it turns it. That's why they call it the flame sword. This looks perfect. I don't think you could want this done better than this. DeGarn had a pose that was similar to this, even though he didn't really use it in the show, but he did use it for some of the promo art for the DeGarn series. DeGarn cannot do this, all right? A lot of figures cannot do this. And let's pull the camera up so you can see how high that goes. I want to show you how tall that sword is. And so it kind of goes out of my wall. So it looks amazing. Amazing. I'm shocked. Just this pose alone, this is worth it to me. The only thing that is truly missing is the effects for the flame sword. That's really the only thing. And then I kind of wish that they had an elongated version of the flame sword as well, but they didn't give you that in this set. But the flame sword pose, it's perfection. The only other figure that I own that could do this just as well as this is the SMP Fighbird. It is very, very difficult to get this pose. Usually most figures don't have the articulation in order to pull this pose off. So I'm very, very impressed with this Fighbird thus far. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna bring out some other Brave figures, and we're gonna see how Fighbird measures up. So we'll do that next. So next I wanna do some size comparisons with some of the other Brave figures that I have. Now I'm not gonna pull out all of them, of course, but I will pull out a few so we can see how he stacks up as far as the size comparison is concerned. So first, I'm gonna bring out the SMP Fighbird. So as you can see, they're almost in the same pose. But yes, so that is the SMP Fighbird. So he towers over the model kit of SMP Fighbird. And I just wanted to kind of bring them out because I think they look cool together. But he towers over him. I would say that he's maybe at the bottom of the black piece here. So that's what you have for the SMP Fighbird. Then next, we have the Amakuni Kenzin Genetic Gattai. So as you can see, he's bigger than the Gattai. So that's really, really good. Now, when it comes to Sentinel, Sentinels tend to be a little bit on the smaller side anyways, but all things considered, this guy looks huge compared to him, just as far as, even though there's more detail on the Akumi Kenzin Genetic Gattai, he's just bigger. So he almost looks like a jumbo version of a Brave figure. But that's what he looks like next to the Amakuni Kenzin Genetic Gattai. And then lastly, it's only fitting that I bring in my other good smile, which is the final form of Dagon. So they are roughly about the same size. So I would say that they're in scale with each other almost perfectly. Now, the thing is, with this version of Dagon, I took him off of his platform shoes because with his platform shoes, he would be taller than Fighbird. But I didn't want to take him out of this in order to transform him back into the regular Dagon X. So I just kind of left him in this mode. But even as Dagon X, really it's just the difference in the head. There's not going to really be any difference in the height. So this pretty much is roughly the same. So that's what we have for size comparisons between Fighbird and some of the other Brave figures. I could have pulled out a couple of other ones, but unfortunately some of them are in dynamic posing that I didn't want to mess up. So so this is gonna have to do, but considering this is the Good Smile, because this was the first Good Smile release and this is the latest. And to me, this guy is miles better just as far as what he can do compared to the Dagon. And so I must give Good Smile their props. I was very, very skeptical for a long time about Good Smile, but with this new Fighbird, I must admit he looks really, really good. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into final thoughts. So last thoughts on this guy, this is a very, very interesting piece, this Fighbird. Now, a little history with me and Good Smile. I had bought the Dagon that whole series. So him, Gown, the stand, all of that. And to be honest, I wasn't very impressed with it all that much, especially considering how much it cost. Now, separately, it wasn't that much. Good Smile says that they can do these kind of things at an affordable price. But the problem that I found is that it didn't have the articulation that I'm usually used to. It didn't have the detail that I was used to. And to me, it just kind of, this line to me, this Gattai series line, it reminds me, if you are someone who loved the original Brave DX toys, I think that this line is going to be mainly for you. The fact that you can kind of get the same size that the DX toys had, and even though it doesn't have like the chrome plating and stuff that the DX figures had, you get this guy and he definitely has way more articulation than the old DX toys did. Those were pretty much like the 80s styles or 90s styles Transformers. They were pretty much bricks. So, with this, you do get some articulation that way. But anyways, as far as Good Smile is concerned, I went away from it. I didn't want to chance it with the Mike Guine, because Mike Guine isn't really my favorite show or anything like that. So for me, I didn't really care about Mike Guine all that much, even though I heard really good things about how they did that figure. And it was definitely an improvement over Dagon and Great Dagon GX. And then when they came out with Seven Changer, that made some people's figure of the year for last year. And so I was willing to give them another try, especially since Fighbird is my #2 favorite in all of Brave, especially this specific version of Fighbird. Not Great Fighbird Fighbird with the flame thruster. This is one of my favorites. He looks so much like a Gundam, it's not even funny. But anyway, so back to what I like about this guy. The fact that he can transform, even though transforming isn't really the end all be all for me, I just want it to look accurate to what we saw in the show. And for the most part, he does that. Now, I would have liked to have seen his legs a little bit thinner. He is a little bit chunky when it comes to the legs specifically. And because if you've ever seen Fighbird, Fighbird is a little bit more lankier, you know, from an aesthetic standpoint, especially when it comes to his legs. Now that could just be the anime style in the 90s, but I would have liked to have seen that incorporated a little bit more here. Now, as far as the things that I don't like, having no ab articulation is, I knew that that was probably going to be the case because I saw that with Dagarn. But I will say, at least with this Fighbird, they did try to, you know, give you some articulation around it. So even though he can't move his midsection anyway, he does have a little bit more articulation in the hips. He does have a little bit more articulation in the thighs. And so you can kind of pose him so they kind of fake it a little bit. But I think overall, one of my biggest things about a lot of the figures that I buy is that I want them to be able to accurately represent what they did in the show. And for the most part, this Fighbird does that. So I think Good Smile did accomplish some good things with this Fighbird. Now, as far as his hands, that little ball joint that's on there, that I can see that being broken because it is very, very small and it's not very thick. And so if you put too much pressure trying to force those hands on there, I can see you breaking that, especially if you're trying to go in at an angle. That would be very, very unfortunate. I have seen on Japanese Twitter where some people have complained that they have broken those ball joints in the hands. Now, in the box, you did see that slip where it said that you might want to warm them up. I didn't do that for mine. I just kind of shimmied it on there and haven't really had any issues. So I haven't had any issues with that. As far as stressing the rotating part of his wrist, I haven't seen that on this figure. I know that that's another problem that people have had with this Fighbird in Japan. And unfortunately for me, I'd have to take out my tools and kind of disassemble him. So you're gonna have to do minor surgery to even look at that part. But what I will do is I will put a video in the description of another YouTuber in Japan that does a fix for that. So if that is something that you're worried about, it's a relatively easy fix to fix that rotating thing that they're saying is getting stressed in there. But for me personally, I did not see that. So that does not go into my final score because I did not have that problem. Now, as far as his whole look is really, really good. I would say I would really want his neck to be just slightly a bit longer. Now, it's different because of his combination. He has a helmet that goes on, you know, his original face. And so it doesn't really restrict his movement on his head, but if you look at it straight on, it does look like his head is kind of recessed into his body, so almost like he doesn't have a neck. And so I kind of wish that there was a way that you could kind of get that up just a tad bit higher, not a ton, but just enough, because especially if you're doing any kind of dynamic photo shoots, a lot of times you're not going to be able to see his face when you're doing that, just because it kind of just recesses, especially with the front plate being as big as it is and all of that. So that's the only other issue that I have. As far as everything else, there's some minor things, like he doesn't have any effect parts for his flame sword. I think that would have been good. Also, he doesn't have a Katori figure. I think that would have been really good for this guy. So the fact that he doesn't have those two is a slight of a miss. Now, maybe we'll get them with Grandbird, or if they do a stand, I imagine they will, since they did one for Mike Gine and Dagarn. So I imagine that we'll get one with Fighbird as well, and I probably will end up getting that. So, you know, so you have that. But out of 10, you know, it's interesting because he does everything I want him to do. So there's nothing that he doesn't necessarily do badly, but I'm used to a little bit more detail. I'm used to a little bit more articulation, but I can give Good Smile credit for the fact that they did try to fix those things to a certain degree without sacrificing the transformation. So out of 10, I'm gonna give this guy an 8.8. I think that he's almost in 9 territory, and I thought I'd never say that about a Good Smile figure. He's almost in 9 territory. I think if they would have got some articulation in the abs and, you know, some of the, like the effect part for the flame sword and all of that. Now, the thing is, there has not been a recall on this Fighbird yet. You know, with DeGarn had issues with his hips, and so they ended up doing a replacement program. I have not heard or seen that as far as with his wrist for Fighbird. I have not heard anything from Good Smile, so I don't know if that's something that they plan on doing in the future or not. But yeah, definitely just be careful when you're messing with his hands and messing with his wrist. But I did not have any of those issues. He stands very, very well. I don't think I've had him topple over, not one time. You know, so he is really, really solid. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, send this out to all the people that you know that like Super Robots or Brave, I would appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.